Layla, my love, should we go back right to the very beginning? So we'll start with. Thank you, guys. Sorry. Will we start with childhood, and you give us kind of a little bit of a background about your childhood? Um, how did you find growing up?
Um, so I had a lot of issues from a very early age. I had like clinical depression ever since I was like 6 years old. It was pretty rough. I had a difficult time um fitting in with especially other girls, but um a lot of these like social I had a lot of social issues as well early on, and a lot of it could honestly be chalked up to autism. I didn't get diagnosed until I was an adult. um
Right.
but it really didn't start to get super rough, like my life in general, until around the time I hit puberty, which I hit it kind of early. um I hit puberty very early, like I was like in 8 or 9 or so, and everything just got a lot harder because, obviously the hormones and all that, like, impacting mood negatively. Um, I got teased a lot too, like, because I was like the only girl, like, that was like developing at that age. Um, like, I had a lot of issues with my body in general, especially when puberty hit. Like, I think a lot of my issue was like I had some kind of like body dysmorphia that got misdiagnosed as gender dysphoria. Um, and it wasn't like caught on by like my therapist at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like a little bit of an overview.
So how
I
oh, Danielle, on you go, love.
sorry, I've watched a lot of your interviews, and that was one question that I had for you because you had mentioned feeling uncomfortable in your body and the stereotypical like what you're supposed to look like you mentioned the thigh gap and all of that stuff. And I wondered if how you felt about the diagnosis of gender dysphoria, or if you thought it was more body dysmorphia that started this ball rolling.
Yeah, I think body dysmorphia would have been a more
Oh, Layla, you're
ac-
breaking up, Dylan. Is that
uh,
our
but
is
honestly, like the guy thing, did it
Layla?
get better?
Are you back with it?
You're
You're back
breaking
with
up,
us.
babe.
You're back with us
Okay.
now. Right. Do you want to start that again? Just start the question,
Okay.
answering the question that Daniel just asked you, though.
Oh, yeah, like I definitely think that it was more like body dysmorphia would have been a more accurate diagnosis. Um, but like honestly, like the what's the word I'm trying to think of? Like the diagnostic criteria for gender dysphoria in pediatrics is kind of honestly loose. Like a lot of the criteria is just based on, well, does this kid fit like very stereotypical like gender norms or not? Like it's kind of loose in my opinion. Like I don't have it pulled up right now, but um yeah, it like and like I was like a tomboy from an early age,
Mm-hmm.
so
Same.
it's kind of why I got like mixed up into it as easily as I did.
Yeah. So if we circle back a little bit, because you made a point that you had clinical depression from the age of 6. I know we're having a little bit of internet issues, Layla, just in case there's some sort of lag between us. But did I take it you got a diagnosis at the age of 6 then for the clinical depression, or was that something that kind of your family didn't look into at that age? Bearing in mind you were really young, 6-year-old is an insane age to have a clinical diagnosis of depression.
I don't think I got diagnosed at that age, honestly, but it was really apparent. Like I don't want to say like a word that you can't say on TikTok.
Hello,
Okay.
welcome
Hopefully
back.
it's a little bit better. Thank you. Sorry. I'm having to reinstall because like I was running TikTok Lite on the phone. I didn't realize it wasn't like the full like TikTok app, and I can't join lives on that. I'm reinstalling just in case it screws up again.
Okay. Right. Well, we'll run with it, and if it does, then hopefully, um, your TikTok will have downloaded by then. Don't worry too much about it. If we need to stop and start, we'll do what we need to. Technical issues can't be avoided when it comes to technology. It's the downfalls of it. That sounded so redundant saying that term. Technical issues can't be avoided with technology. Like no. Anyway, anyway, let's go on swiftly. So we were talking about depression, showing signs of depression at the age of 6. Did you get a formal diagnosis at any stage
I don't think I got a formal diagnosis until like I was a teenager, honestly.
in your teens? In your teens, just when you
And
were away there,
even even then, like I don't think I got like a very specific diagnosis. Like I was diagnosed with like mood disorder, not otherwise specified, even though like it was major depression. Um, like my therapist and my like psychiatrist didn't really like um
give you any
specify.
specification, which is quite strange considering what you then eventually went on to kind of medicalize yourself with the fact that you had this unspecified diagnosis on your records, but no one thought to stop for a second and kind of inquire more into that undiagnosed diagnosis. Basically, it's puzzling. So from the ages of 6, showing signs of depression, it's leading us up kind of into later childhood. So if we say about 10, 11, how was school for you? Were you like the it girl? Were you on the outside? I was a floater, so I would one minute be the it person, and then the next minute I'd be ostracized and ousted, and then I was back into the fold. So it was quite mentally draining. I don't know about yourselves. What was your kind of take on school?
Um, I did well academically. Like I was considered a gifted kid. Um, I had no struggles in that realm, but socially I struggled really hard. Like I was kind of like the weird kid basically. Like I didn't really have like friends or anything like that. Like I just kind of hung out by myself.
You done your own thing. Some people kind of excel
Yeah.
in isolation, especially when it comes into skill, but other people kind of fall back into a rut where that follows them later in life and that isolation becomes their normality. So, what age were you, and Danielle, feel free to jump in at any point. What age were you when you first started showing signs of gender dysphoric behavior? Of course, we now understand that there's possibly been a misdiagnosis with yourself. But what age were you when you first started seeing these uncomfortabilities?
I would say probably about like 10 or so years of age. I was really just having a hard time with puberty, honestly. Like it's hard on like girls in general, but I, you know, it was rough on me. I didn't really know how to cope with it. There was also a lot of like underlying trauma from CSA. Um, so I would say that's kind of when I started to show signs of like gender dysphoric behavior. Trying to think.
Do you,
Mhm.
do you mind if I ask? the age that the abuse started?
Um,
You don't have to
I'm
answer,
not
just
exactly sure,
okay.
but close to like 5 or so.
Okay. And then you started showing signs of depression at 6. And then you
Correct.
started puberty early. You said around 8.
8 or 9, yeah.
That's
Like
a
I
lot.
remember I was in like 4th grade, and most of the other girls that I grew up with didn't start showing signs of puberty until like 6th or 7th grade. So
Yeah. That's a lot for a little girl to experience all at once.
yeah,
So do you feel like you're um when that started happening to you, and I'm so sorry that that happened to you, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm really, really sorry that that happened. Do you think that because of that, and then starting puberty, that with the combination of that and the depression, do you think that you maybe were like, if I were a boy, this wouldn't happen to me? Did you think about that at all, or do you think that was like a subconscious thing?
yeah, that's I think it was mostly subconscious, but definitely that was a factor. I didn't want to have the same thing happen again. It felt safer to be a boy, basically. And how I grew up, like, I only ever saw other like women complain about like all the downsides of being a woman, never like the positives. It's like, oh, women have to deal with periods and childbirth and creepy men, and it's like I wanted to escape that basically.
And then add on to what was happening to you. Also, I can see why um, I can relate to that. I really can. And I'm so sorry that you went through that. I can see how, we develop those years are so crucial to our development. And I can see, with all of that trauma, how you could, you know, your mind would be like, wait, I don't want to do this. So I don't know
Yeah,
if that's relatable to you.
it is for sure. Um, yeah, and like honestly, like I didn't have the greatest like female role models in my life as a kid. Like I kind of found that I related more to the males in my life. I don't know if that was a factor, but
Yeah, I think that's possible. I know I've said this before, but I was always out with my grandpa and my uncles, and they were always out with their shirts off and working in the garage or whatever. And I was like, I want to do that, like they could just pee outside, it was like it's the coolest thing ever. I was like, I want to do all that. So I can relate to that for
yeah,
sure, for sure. So, Michael, do you have anything you want to?
Yeah, well, I've heard your story before, Layla, and it is heartbreaking to think that at such a young age you had experienced such horrific things. So my heart bleeds for you. But to see the person that you are now, the person that you became through such trauma, um, is inspiring to many people, myself included. So I want to kind of focus in. So age of 10 is when you kind of started showing signs of kind of dysphoric behaviors. Um, how did the conversation start? Like, when was your first introduction to this is trans?
um, so like I remember like growing up and like I knew through like movies and stuff that like trans was a thing. I mean, it was kind of in the frame of oh gosh, I hope I don't say a word that I can't say on TikTok. You know, transvestites. Like I knew about that from an early age, just from seeing like media and stuff. But like I only saw that or knew of that in the context and framework of male to female. Um, it wasn't until I was 11 years old that I learned that, oh, it can go the other way, female to male. Um, it was kind of close to the time that Bruce Jenner transitioned to Caitlyn Jenner. So like it was about 2015, I want to say, that it kind of blew up online, and that's kind of how I learned about it. I would see posts that like originated from Tumblr, but they get like reposted and screenshotted and posted to Instagram, which is what I was using, and that's kind of how I learned about that.
So it's
Do you
kind of
think
And
social
I
media played a big part in that? Like in your decision to
I
wanting
I would
to
say so.
transition? Yeah.
I was literally just going to ask the same.
Because like I didn't otherwise like know about it until, social media came into the equation.
So
Yeah.
So
for it not be for kind of, because I didn't get access to social media until I was, like 13, 14. My parents were very guarded with me on social medias. In fact, I think I had a Bebo that my mum had the password to. And the only reason I got it was because you could share the love 3 times a day. And I wanted to go and share the love 3 times a day. Random things that you do when you're a kid. But for it not be for your access to the internet, to social media, do you think that you could have possibly went down a different path, or do you think this is kind of social media, but it's also trauma, but it's also a reaction, so it's kind of encompassing to your life as a whole, which has guided you down. And then I think the other thing that people neglect to see is when you see things like Bruce Jenner becoming Caitlyn. It's polarized. It's in the media every single day, but they only show the good. They don't question anything else. It's all, this is sunlight and roses. This person started a new life. It's far away from the life that they once had. And I think when you're going through, I know for myself especially, and probably you can relate to this also, when you're going through a trauma response, the thing that you want to do is to create a new life. You want to get as far as away from the trauma that you've had. And the best and quickest thing to do is create a new life for yourself. So is that kind of the mentality that you were?
yeah.
Sorry, on you go.
Oh no, I'm sorry. That was definitely, a very appealing factor. It's like, in a sense, it's kind of like becoming like a different person. Like there's something to the whole concept of like referring to like the given name as a dead name, because like even to this day, like I don't go by my birth name. It's just legally on paper, but like it just oh okay. My TikTok just cut out. But like it feels weird to me to like be referred to by my birth name or my given name. Um like I don't use it in my day-to-day life,
Do
even to
you
this day.
do you relate back to, I don't want to say who you were in the beginning, but do you know what I mean? Like, are you trying to find and heal that little Layla? Or are you trying to create a whole new, like, this is me now life? Does that make sense?
Kind of. I've just been trying to move forward, I guess, and I have a hard time relating to like my past self in that way. Like it's just like I'm not sure how to explain it, but it's just like I'm just going forward the best I can,
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
yeah. Day by day is absolutely what you need to do. When you're kind of deprogramming and demedicalizing from the trans ideology itself, because you've got the transition, but you've also got the trans ideology. Trans ideology, as we know it, is forms around the cultish behaviors, whereas you can detach from the ideology itself but still be trans identified. So it's navigating, it's trying to navigate yourself back to a place where you're most comfortable. So I completely appreciate that. What age now? So we're around about 10, 11. This is where you're kind of starting to use social medias, have these have this awareness about what trans is. So what age were you when you started to go down the professional route, and how did that happen? Did you go to family members to go down that route, or talk us through the start of the process?
So I had been seeing therapists on and off from a very young age, like pretty much since I was 6, but like I around like 10, 11, is when I started having like a lot of behavioral like issues, and I had to go see a therapist at Kaiser. Um and at first, like, okay, so in 6th grade I socially transitioned. I didn't notify my parents. The school was not allowed to notify my parents either. This was back in like the 2015 to 2016 school year, 16 school year. Um, and I know during that time, I did tell my therapist that like, hey, like I'm, ideating, and I think I told my therapist like I think I might be trans. And she just kind of she affirmed me. She didn't really ask any meaningful questions or um, do any differential diagnosis. She just was like, okay, that's what you think or feel you are, then that's what you are. Um, and she didn't notify my parents either. It wasn't until because I came out during summer break between 6th and 7th grade. It wasn't until after I came out and like notified my parents that she actually put on paper the diagnosis of gender dysphoria, and started
This was
referring
your
me
school
out to
counselor?
other clinics.
Was this your school counselor?
Um,
Or you had a
no,
therapist outside of that?
yeah, specifically, I'm talking about a Kaiser therapist. I
Okay,
did
okay,
also
gotcha.
tell my school counselor, but she didn't, again, disclose to my parents.
So did you reach out to Kaiser yourself, or did your parents, were they involved with that?
Um, I would say they were involved. Like I was already seeing a therapist.
Okay,
Um, that's yeah.
okay. Sorry, I just got confused there for a second.
No, it's fine. So how did the
It's okay.
therapy?
I'm sorry.
No,
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 it's
you're
fine.
good.
How did it come about you seeing the actual therapist though? Uh, so normally you would get a referral or you would self-refer to them. How did that come about? Because we know that your school knew, right? So schools have their own counsellors in them. So was that something that the school arranged for you and helped you pursue? Or was like how did you navigate into, is it Kaiser? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is Kaiser. I I think it was like self-referred. I was just having a lot of issues at that time. Like I wasn't getting along with my peers. I was, frequently like getting sent to like the principal's office. So yeah, I guess my parents organized it or got a referral, I
Mhm.
guess, from my pediatrician. I'm not exactly sure.
Not 100%. But the reason that they done that was obviously directly attached to the behavioural issues that you were exhibiting at school. So they wanted to get you help for whatever issues that you had in relation to behaviour and not for gender identity at this moment, I would say.
Right. 'Cause like, I didn't really what's the word? How do I word it? Like I was getting into arguments very, very frequently with like other kids, over I don't even know what, but like, it was always like verbal. It was never anything physical, but I kind of would run my mouth and I would swear a lot, so that got me into trouble. And I didn't really respect authority for shit. Like
You're fine. You're fine.
I'm
were you
not super familiar with
diagnosed?
TikTok's guidelines. So
You
No,
can
you're
swear.
good. You're
You
good.
can swear. So don't worry
Yeah.
about it.
Were you diagnosed with ADHD by chance?
no, actually, and I've never been diagnosed with ADHD. But I am on the autism spectrum,
Okay. And did they
but
ever
that
diagnose you
diagnosis
with
didn't come
that?
until
Were you diagnosed with
not until I was
autism?
an adult.
So you weren't, they didn't
I
even
had to
check.
specifically seek that out. Yeah, no,
So
they didn't
they
really like
didn't,
do like a very sorry.
no, you're good. Like a thorough diagnosis. They
Um
didn't,
they didn't.
yeah, yeah.
Like
They
I
just
was
went straight to the
astounded because like when I had to go through my lawsuit, like I had like um psychiatrists like do like a whole like diagnostic like run up basically.
Hmm.
And I was astounded. I was like, wait, my doctors as a kid never did that. What? Like
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
Oh,
So we have you in school. We've got. Let's do a little breakdown just in case anybody new has joined. So at the moment, Layla has told us about showing signs of depression from the age of 6. Um, Typical issues through puberty, the uncomfortability of actually experiencing puberty as a young girl, mood disorders within the teens. Sadly, there was CSA from the ages of 5. Um, Again, thank you so much for sharing that, and my heart bleeds out to you for that experiencing such a thing. And you explained that because of these reasons, because of social media influence, that this kind of led you into the trans ideology. So we're in school, we've got behavioural issues, we've got the referral over to Visa, Kaiser, Visa, one of the two.
Kaiser.
Kaiser. Listen, they could be brothers. So
either.
when did it, right? So you've went to this therapist, you've told this therapist, I think I'm this. The therapist instantly jumped to affirm and never question, even though you actually presented to them with other comorbidities that isn't linked to, trans ideology or being transgender in any sense of the word. So when was it that you were, I'm trying to remember, you were what, 10, 11 when you told your parents? Is that right?
Yeah, I was 11 years old once I told my parents. Yeah.
11?
Um, and as soon as I told my parents, and my therapist was, aware that my parents knew, that therapist began writing out referrals to the gender clinics. Um, and that's kind of how that snowballed from there, I
Wait,
guess.
so your first referral to the gender identity clinic went in when you were 11-year-old?
Correct.
Wow, absolutely insanity.
Like
Um,
11, almost 12.
11, almost 12. So let's go to that first referral then. So you've first referral went in at 11, 12. What age were you when you got your first appointment with the gender clinic?
I think it was like shortly after I turned 12. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was 12 by this time, barely, but yeah. Um,
So quite quickly then?
and I guess my first intervention was yeah, no, it really there wasn't like a waiting period or like really much of any of that.
Did you have appointments with
Like
therapists then?
at first I saw a specialist that was like pretty local.
Sorry, I think we have a lag.
Yeah, I was still seeing my original therapist. Sorry.
No, 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 it's fine. I want to make sure we're like, I don't want to overtalk you. So when you went to the gender clinic, how long did you have like appointments with the therapist, or did they like did you start like hormone like HRT? Um, I mean, how quick did that ball start going?
Oh, within not even a full year, honestly.
Wait, so let's slow down a little minute, right? Let's break this right down to the nitty-gritty of it all. So your referral went in, you were seen quickly, you were assigned to a gender specialist. So did they then start a process of therapy straight away? Once you had your gender specialist, were you straight into therapy?
um, yeah, I would say so with the gender. I was seeing at that time I was seeing both the original therapist and then the gender therapist. Um, at first I got referred to like a local gender therapist, and her and because we were wanting to block menstruation because at that time like I sorry, excuse me. Um, you know, it was really distressing, especially like considered like no girl wants to go through that. Like that's just normal. But like I was especially having a rough time with it. And that local therapist, the gender one, um, she said that I was too far through puberty to be a candidate for Lupron, the hormone blocker. So she prescribed me like birth control pills to like block menstruation. Um, and I had a bad reaction. Like I just felt really sick, so I didn't even take them for like a full week. Um, and you know, I went back to the original therapist. I was like, hey, like this didn't work for me. Like I don't know about this gender therapist. Like, and then I got referred to another one. Um, and this the second one, the final one. Um, she was actually the head of Kaiser Oakland's pediatric gender clinic. Like she had, you know, what's like she was, you know, like kind of known in her field. Like she would go to like all these WPATH like events and like do seminars and like she was responsible for training other doctors. So like we were like, okay, this lady's the real deal. Like she's, you know, as good as it gets in her field.
Mm-hmm.
And she kind of fast tracked me through the whole transition process, in my opinion.
Just one question. So you started puberty, you said between 8 and 9. So did you start menstruating at that age? And then you went at 11 and they said you were too far through. Okay. And then they gave you a pill. Cause I don't know, maybe I'm just out of the loop here, but like with birth control, it doesn't necessarily stop your period. I mean, I guess it depends on what you're taking. But more like regulates it.
Yeah, it's like you know how there's like the one week where it's like I don't know if it's like a placebo or exactly how it works, but it's like different colored tablets, you know, for like the one week that you're
Hmm.
supposed to menstruate when you take those.
Yeah.
I was told to take pretty much skip that week, and just
And
take
just
all the
take the
green ones and
end.
not the red ones.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. So that had to have messed with your cycle and I'm sure it messed with your hormones in general. Uh I'm so it
Um,
breaks my heart.
I mean, I didn't take those for like more than a week just because
Okay.
they just made me feel sick.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Okay. So then you're seeing the gender specialist, you see this like the head of Kaiser or whatever. And then where were we at, Michael? So you were kind of on the fast track.
Yeah.
Did they give you any other medications or anything at that, after the
Right.
pill, the birth control?
I did try a couple of psych meds, but these were not prescribed by the doctor in Oakland. These were from a more local like psych doc. Um, Like, I think the first psych med I was ever put on was Respiradol, which I have a funny story about. I didn't find it helpful because it wasn't it was an antipsychotic, but I wasn't exhibiting psychotic symptoms. Like I needed an antidepressant.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so it just made me feel groggy and kind of loopy. And funnily enough, right, is like a side effect of that medication, which happens in to biological males, not just exclusive to females, is that medication can cause patients to lactate. And I found this out on accident. I was at my grandma's, like watching cable TV, and like those infomercials where it's like, oh, if you took this medication,
Oh,
like
Layla, bear with, you're having some connection issues again.
the side effect disclosed that it could happen, like you can sue. That's how I found out that that med does that, and oh, is it
So
better?
I think you're on
Yeah.
bars. Do you want to tell us that
But
story again?
yeah,
Because
so I found out.
we only heard the story from you were at your grandma's. So if you start the story again and tell us.
And the cable TV you
Oh,
watched an infomercial.
yeah, like those commercials where it's like if you took this medication and you had this side effect, and you weren't disclosed about it, like you can sue, like there's like a class action lawsuit. That's how I found out that that medication does that. And of course, no kid wants to lactate, like
Yeah.
but especially as a gender dysphoric, like 12-year-old, I especially, and I freaked out and I like stopped taking that medication that night. I'm pretty sure I flushed them. Like I was just like not about it, especially because it wasn't benefiting me.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So we've
Like it was like the wrong class of psych meds for me.
yeah, well, what you actually needed was an antidepressant or an antipsychotic. If you take an antipsychotic without psychotic symptoms, what are you treating at that point? Nothing. If you need a antidepressant to treat depression, I mean, it's the clues in the name that it's self-explanatory. You don't need a PhD to understand
Right.
what an antipsychotic treats. You know,
Yeah.
um, right. So we've got this doctor. Everybody, yourself included, is thinking this is the head of the pediatric service. This is the golden ticket. They're the top of the top class, profession. This is the one that we've needed. But you said that they're fast tracking you. So, right, so we've got these different medications that you're getting put on. Did you start testosterone at any point?
I did. I started testosterone when I was 12 years old. It was June of 2017. Um, and if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure that gender doc, she did the like letter for approval, like for both the surgery and the hormones, in my first appointment with her. And it was only like
Your
a 90
first
minute appointment.
appointment?
That's
Wait,
crazy.
wait.
I'm pretty
I
sure.
I am
And you were
shook.
Yeah.
11.
No, I am shook, and I know everybody watching is going to be shook. So you're on testosterone at the age of 12. You're getting referrals for surgery, and we'll touch on the surgery that you've had in a second. But all of this within a 90. No, I'm I am not surprised, but I am at every single time I hear someone say this to me, it shakes me to the core, to the actual bones of my body. It shakes me. 12 years of age, you're going on one of the strongest um, things that you can be put onto, testosterone, especially in a female body. We see this in cases of PCOS where, just slight elevation in testosterone levels have major effects on females' bodies. But you would have been put at a high dosage to bring your levels up. So were you also put on to so that were you put onto a blocker at any point to block estrogen?
I was. It was. I know I had my first ever Lupron shot in November of 2016. I'm not exactly sure which doctor prescribed the Lupron. I want to say it was this gender specialist out in Oakland that did it. Um, and honestly, the only thing about Lupron, like the whole reason I was put on it was just to block menstruation, because I was already pretty significantly developed by that age. And it was just to block menstruation and like any potential further breast development than I already had. Um, being on Lupron, it's kind of a rough medication. Like it basically, especially as someone who had pretty much mostly finished with puberty, like and already was used to having hormones in their body like that, it basically puts you into menopause. Like I was having pretty much all like the symptoms, but like on overdrive. Like the hot flashes are like the main thing that stands out to me. Like they would be so sudden and extreme that like I would, just be trying to do like my seventh grade homework and I just couldn't focus because I was just burning hot. And what I
And
would
it's like
do is
from the
like,
inside out. It's like a internal on
yeah,
fire. Like you can't immediately, Oh my God. At 12 years old, you were
right.
experiencing this.
I would I would open my freezer and try to like stand in it to like, get some relief. Like
Oh
it
my
was
God.
wild.
So your first appointment with this gender specialist, you got a prescription for testosterone.
Yeah, she wrote the approval
Okay.
letter for it. Um, and of course she never pried into like what other comorbidities do I have or like,
Hmm.
didn't run an autism assessment. Like there's so many things this doctor neglected to do. It's just insane. She just pretty much was just like, okay, you know, you feel like a boy, and then just kind of like, yeah, she abstract me, honestly.
That breaks my heart.
Yeah.
I just like I want to I like I'm getting teary-eyed because I can't imagine. I remember my daughter being that age and just were your parents, sorry, Michael,
I'm
were your parents like on board with this or were they like worried for you? Because I've heard a lot of stories where it's, the doctors tell the parents, well, would you rather have an alive son or an unalive daughter? And was that brought into the conversation with them? I'm sure they were like, were they scared or were they like, yeah, let's just go for it, no problems, no questions?
Yeah, my parents were, definitely concerned. Um, like they, were very unsure, reasonably so. Um,
Yeah.
but these doctors, they push that whole dilemma on them. So, of course, it was pretty apparent that my mental health was struggling. And, of course, you have doctors in your ear telling you, unalive daughter or live son,
Yeah.
and especially these doctors hold authority. Like, it's like the people that you're supposed to listen to and supposed to be able
Yeah.
to trust. And, yeah,
Well, you're very true in saying that. We live in a society where you don't question the doctors because doctors know best, especially when it comes to your health. And that's the kind of scary
right.
thing about it. So you mentioned, uh, Layla, can I just ask? We've got Christy. Christy is absolutely phenomenal. She does a lot of boots on the ground work. Would you be
Yeah.
okay if we add another person onto the panel?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, Perfect.
You'll love Christy.
Christy's
You'll love
phenomenal.
Christy. Yeah.
Right.
Here, you want me to let her up?
Yes, please, because for some reason... Oh, wait, I need to change this.
I just were your parents like hesitant at all to do like to move forward or put you on these medications? Or were they just scared to death that they were going to lose you if they didn't give you this medication?
There were some hesitations for sure, but again, they were scared and,
Yeah,
thought the doctors could be trusted. So ultimately, that's why they moved forward, was because they were told that this kid is gender dysphoric and this is how you treat gender dysphoria. It's,
yeah.
what's like, we didn't even know detransition was a thing, or that some kids desist from it.
Mhm.
Like detransition and desistance rates were not ever brought up. Like to the point where when I detransitioned, I didn't even know what I was doing. I didn't have the words for it. Um, I was already like quite far and,
So
I guess
how long were
medically
you,
detransitioned before I even,
yeah,
sorry.
no. How long were you on testosterone and what happened after that? Because we know what, but for
I
everybody
took
else.
testosterone. Yeah, I was on testosterone from 12 to 17. Um,
Okay. So
and
when you
I
turned
started
12,
off getting my injections.
no, go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry. There's just a little lag. So
So, yeah, I was 12, close to 13, but not quite, when I started. And like, I started off getting my injections done at the clinic, or not at that specific clinic, but like, there's a more nearby Kaiser than the Oakland one, and they have like an allergy slash injection clinic, and that's actually where I would go to get my shots for like
an allergy clinic?
a couple years. But then I started self-injecting. I want to say I was like 15 or 16. Yeah, it's like allergy slash injections clinic.
So
Wait,
you
can I just jump in, Danielle? Sorry. Was anyone...
yeah.
Like I was probably the only person going there for a hormone shot.
I was literally just going to ask you that. Was anyone in that clinic actually trained in endocrinology? Were they trained to understand what they were giving you, or were they just given and told inject this person with this?
I'm pretty sure they were just, doing as my prescription at the time said and just going with it. Like I I know at least one of the nurses kind of like gave me a funny look one time and like, like was like, "Is this the correct prescription?" I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
like yes, this is correct," and went along doing it, side-eyeing the whole time, but yeah.
Right.
So you were 12 and then you were taking these medications and then what happened after you started taking the medications? You're 12 years old and then what happened when you were 13?
Um, like as far as like effects go, or
Well, what was the next step in this
um,
transitioning process?
you know, um, oh, well, I ended up, because she wrote the approval letter for both the surgery and the hormones at the same time. And I met with my surgeon for a pre-op appointment pretty close to the time I started testosterone. Um, and yeah, I ended up having my mastectomy 1 month after my 13th birthday.
So
Like
13
I
year
wasn't even
old.
trans identified for like a full 2 years before I was like I can't say fully medicalized because there is no like bottom surgery, but like
So
right.
this is honestly shocking. This is how fast tracked it was, right? Started showing signs and spoke to a general therapist at the age of 10, feeling discomfort with puberty. You know, said to your, I'm just giving everybody a kind of breakdown of how quick this timeline went. Ages of 10, we've got puberty issues, we've got referrals in to Kaiser. We then start seeing a gender specialist at the age of 11. From there, it's less than 12 months and you are on hormones, referrals in for surgery, both of which were done in a 90-minute appointment with the head of the pediatrics for gender specialists. The head, 90-minute appointment, and you've got these two, you've got a referral or your approval letter, sorry, you call it, approval letter for hormones, approval letter for surgery, and then 1 month after your 13th birthday, you're in having a double mastectomy.
Mastectomy.
Within the time span of 3 years, then the doctors have you medicated and also have had you in to have a double mastectomy. 3 years, guys. No break, no period,
Right.
nothing. 3 years.
I
I'm honestly, I'm appalled that we live in a world like this.
Like
So
I
on you go, Layla. Sorry.
oh I'm sorry. Like oh gosh, I just lost my train of thought a little bit there. I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's okay.
no,
Don't worry.
take your time. Take your time.
Right. So you're in for this surgery. After the surgery, what was your first thought or feeling when you came out of the surgery? When you woke up from having the surgery done, what was the first thing that came to your head?
Um so I remember like I was super loopy. As one is when they come out of anesthesia, like I remember like I kept asking like, is it done yet? Is it done? I had my parents and the nurses and stuff reassuring me like it's already done. Like um and I was I was kind of like a spectacle, it felt like in the OR because like mind you, the surgery was actually performed in the plastic surgery department in Kaiser, San Francisco. Um so I was probably like the youngest patient that they ever like that the nurses and staff like saw in that clinic. You know, I I had nurses that weren't even assigned to me like peeking in through the door and like checking up on me and stuff. Like, I think part of the reason though was also because of all the drugs. Like because they gave me a sedative before I went in. Um, they gave me an IV with a ton of like Valium, and I was making like really bad jokes. Like I was making like corny like bad jokes pretty much. I was, under the influence, like pretty heavily sedated. Um, like I was told that I was making my nurses laugh. I was making like stupid jokes, like, "Oh, this is a weight off my chest." Like,
I I have
yeah,
like
that was a
no
whole
no
thing.
words. Like 13 years old and you had a double mastectomy. To me that's criminal. It's I just
Yep.
I can't believe and you hear all the time like, oh, they're not doing this to children, but we know that they are. And like, how did your parents deal with this? Like when they said, oh, she can have a double mastectomy, were they like, I don't like this idea? Or were they like, okay, if this is what's best? Like,
Mm.
how were they
And
during this process?
did they also have to sign it off? Did they have to give you parental consent to
Mm.
do this?
Yeah, they did have to sign a consent form on my behalf because I was a minor at the time. They were really worried and they're like, "Are you sure? Like, are you sure?" And I thought I was sure. And of course, they were being told that this is what I needed. So ultimately, that's why they went along with it.
So it was you were making all the decisions, but they had to consent.
Yeah.
Okay. At 13, 12,
Like
it just
how can you consent at that age? Like the ages of 13, you probably didn't understand what a double mastectomy was. No matter amount of explaining to you as a child that age, would you have understood? Christy, weigh in whenever you like, hon.
Yeah, hi. I just wanted to ask a few questions and I'll give it back to the host and the co-host. It's just when they put you on testosterone, I kind of wanted to jump back a little bit. When they first put you on testosterone, when did you start noticing changes to your body? After how long?
Um, I began noticing changes within like 2 weeks, I want to say. Within the first month, like my voice was starting to like crack a bit and like deepen. Um, I had a lot more energy, which, is kind of what happens when you take an anabolic steroid. Like I had so much energy to where it's like it's almost like I was manic, and I don't have bipolar or anything like that. Like it was almost like manic levels of energy. Like I would be like basically bouncing off the walls. Like I, you know, I remember at like some point, like I basically was just like
Oh, Layla, you're breaking up again, love.
I need, I ran out of things to do. Legit,
Oh,
like in my kitchen, scrubbing
wait,
the ceiling.
Layla,
Oh, sorry.
it's fine. Just give yourself a second and
Is
then
it
repeat what
is
you
it
were just saying to
resolvable?
us. You're on
Hmm?
bars at the moment. Just give yourself a little second. So it tends to kind of balance itself out. I think we're back now.
Sorry about that. Yeah, like I don't have awesome. Like I don't have bipolar, but like the amount of energy that I had when I was on testosterone was like almost like manic levels of energy. Like I was pretty much bouncing off the walls. Like I needed something to do at one point, and like I was pretty much like everything, like the whole house was like clean, but like I just needed to do something. I needed to be in motion, and remember at one point like scrubbing the ceiling in my kitchen just because like I needed something to do. Like
Well, that's why men. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
sorry.
No, no, I interrupted you. I'm sorry. Go ahead. A little bit of a lag, so I wasn't sure if you were done. I apologize. Go ahead. Keep going.
Oh, I was done. You're good.
I was going to say that's why when men take testosterone, they have to go to the gym, right? They have to they need an out to burn off that extra steam that they have because it just kind of sits in their body, right? And they get antsy. And I would assume it would be the same thing for women that take and girls that take testosterone, right? Now, just to push
Oh, for
forward
sure.
back to, yeah, just to push forward back to the surgery. When you left the hospital and the first time you took off the bandage and you looked at yourself, what did you think?
I feel like I was really like dissociated. Like I don't feel like it fully registered like what I just did to myself. Like, I was just like, cool, I don't have to wear a binder, like I don't have to worry about bras or anything like that. Like, that's kind of what I remember. You know, and like it always looks gruesome. You know, any surgery. You know, immediate post-op results are you know always rough, but it's like I was so dissociated. It's like it didn't even feel like I was looking at myself. Like I just didn't like I don't know.
It
Like I
was
was just
probably
like
some. It was
mentally
probably
checked
some sort
out.
of maybe like a coping mechanism. Also, when you cope, when you see, and you kind of like disassociate. It could be maybe it just didn't like feel real to you because you were. I mean, you're 13 years old. That's just. It just upsets me. And then okay, when after? Can I ask you how old you are? I missed the first chunk.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. How old are you now?
Currently I'm 21.
Okay. So when did you look at your body and say, this isn't right? Like after your surgeries, when did you kind of look at yourself and say this, what I did is not the right thing?
Um, you know, I started having issues with my body pretty much like right after I healed. Like I kind of fell into there was a period of time where I struggled with an eating disorder. Um, and I don't know if it was like a weird cope or something, but I was like, okay, I had this done, but I'm still not completely happy with my body. Oh, if I lose weight and like lose my curves, like I'll be more passable. Like, the threshold to passing it just kind of got like more extreme. Um, especially combined with like that energy from when I was on testosterone, like that kind of I guess played a part in it. Like I would have days where I would walk 10 miles, um, just trying to burn calories.
And this was after your
And
surgery.
yes,
Okay.
it was
So still like
like
body
pretty much right
dysmorphia.
after I got to a point where I was like healed. Right.
Um,
Did anybody ever speak to you about having bottom surgery? I know you had mentioned that you haven't fully surgicalized your body. So did anyone actually mention to you along this process of, is that something that you want? Was there any referrals put in for this? Like, where did you sit kind of for bottom part?
Um, I was interested, especially when I was like younger. I did at one point want to fully medicalize myself. But for they won't do that under 18.
Oh,
So I mean, had I still been
bear with
trans-identified by the
Layla.
time I turned
Layla, you've
18, I
got another
definitely would have
little.
got a very swift referral.
Sorry, you're just on bars again. You were breaking up a little. Could you just tell us again? So they said to you, I caught a little bit. They said to you that you can't get that under the age of 18.
Right. They don't do that under 18, but had I still been trans-identified by the time I did turn 18, I would have got a very swift referral
but they were totally okay with giving you a double
for
mastectomy
sure.
at 13.
I was just gonna say that. It makes it
That's
Right.
when you think of it like that, it makes no logical sense that a child can consent to a double mastectomy at the age of 13, but no other form of surgery can they consent to. Makes no sense at all. Right. So we've had top surgery, we've had a double mastectomy done. You're slowly coming to the realization that what age were you? Let me not put words in your mouth. What age were you then when you started to have doubts, so to speak? Started to actually realize maybe I've done the wrong thing here. Because you mentioned that you were constantly chasing this dragon. Let me change this about me. Let me change that about me. Let me change this about me. But never feeling yourself or fulfilled in an actual transition, so to speak. So when did you come to this realization that actually this is probably the wrong thing that I've been doing?
It wasn't until I was about 17 or so. Um, when I was 17, especially like around the time leading up to my 18th birthday, like I was having a really like bad mental health crisis because like you know, mind you, in the state of mind I
Oh,
was a kid when I medicalized in 16,
wait,
let alone
Layla,
18.
you're
Um,
breaking up again, love.
I
Maybe we try it with the camera off, because sometimes having your camera on will take a lot of the internet bandwidth.
oh, sorry about that.
No, you're fine. You're totally gone. You're frozen. Let me.
Oh,
Right, what I'll do. There we go.
appears because okay, I'm back.
Sometimes not having your camera on helps with the bandwidth of it. I still see that you've got bars.
No.
Oh, I think you're back now. Let's try it with the camera off to see if that
Um,
helps. Right, so you're telling us there that you were going through a sort of mental health crisis. Do you want to explain again to us what you were just saying there?
yeah, so like the state of mind that I was in when I medicalized, like I was super depressed. Like and I had ideation of wanting to be unalive like that whole time. Um, so I didn't really see myself living to turn 16, and then I did. And I actually didn't foresee myself to be 18. So, leading up to my birthday, like I like really bad mental health crisis, like and I kind of had to like take a step back and reevaluate. It's like, how do I want to go on in life? Like, how do I want to like because this whole like attempting to live this male thing, like it wasn't working. Like it wasn't making me happy or fulfilled. Um, and it kind of
Were
almost like
were
in a way it felt like a little bit performative.
Wait, Um,
were you
Sorry.
on any
bear
other like
one second, Daniel. Layla, are you able to disconnect from your Wi-Fi and try mobile data to see if that kind of helps? Because when you start talking, you're losing a
Yeah,
lot of
here
signal.
I can try and rejoin on the here, I'll leave and rejoin on the phone.
Perfect.
Sorry.
No, no, you're fine. You're fine. I just don't want
I'll
anybody
be
to
right back.
miss your story. Thank you so much, Layla. Guys, just when we're on a intermission, if we can double tap the live, let's get the likes up. The more likes we get, the more it goes out. Spam anything in the comments, just this one time, just any emoji, number, letter, anything. There's 202 of us in here. Let's every single one of us just spam something random into the comments. Um, Comments will push the live out also. Thank you so much, Christy, for coming up and helping. Please stay on the
My
panel
pleasure.
because I know you'll have some questions coming up. Hula, yes. So I am going to cover that, but I just want to kind of follow a kind of system of timeline. But there is legal ramifications in this, which I'll get Layla to explain in more detail, as much more detail as Layla possibly can. Thank you so much for spamming, guys. I appreciate yous. This is, I don't know about you two ladies, but this story is absolutely
Yeah, it's
heartbreaking.
crazy. I don't want to like come in and just like slam you guys. I like what the questions you're asking. I want to make sure that you guys ask the questions so I don't have to re-ask them. I just have like so many questions to ask because I don't know. I guess because I have daughters and my other questions were really like, does every gender affirming doctor affirm every single patient? So she went to two, right? Did both doctors affirm her?
well, she went to a therapist, like a regular therapist for her mental health, and she was having these ideations, and then she got a referral to this pediatric gender specialist.
Yeah,
and
Okay.
it was the head of Kaiser of this department. And so she kind of fast tracked her through.
wait, before that though, so the way it went, I've got pages and pages of notes, but the way that it went, so she had a a, a counselor or a therapist for behavioral issues at school, right? She then got a referral to a gender specialist, but when she met this gender specialist, they didn't put her onto a medication. I forget the name of the medication because she was so far into puberty that there would be no
Lupron.
point.
Lupron.
Lupron. She was so far into puberty that there would be no point because she's pre-precocious puberty also. You know, she started at the ages of 8, 9 year olds. So she went back to the regular one that she was seeing just for behavioural issues and says, listen, I don't like this gender specialist. And they then put a second referral in, and that's when she got the head of the paediatrics for gender specialist at Kaiser. And that was the gender specialist that fast tracked her through this. So we go from the ages of 10 starting to show signs of kind of dysphoric behaviors because and I say that loosely, guys, this is dysphoric behaviors because the criteria is so lax. The criteria for gender dysphoria within a child is so lax. So a child's feeling uncomfortable at puberty will be an indicator of gender dysphoria in that child because they have discomfort. They don't disassociate, they don't departmentalize what is just a regular uncomfortable puberty to what is gender dysphoria. It's kind of encompass. So the ages of 10 starting to show these signs. Then seeing a specialist from the ages of 10, 11. This was the behavioural specialist at the age of 11. The referral went into the gender services. The first, as I said, the first doctor she got, the relationship wasn't there that they needed, so she got a second referral into another gender specialist, which was the head of the service. Started testosterone at the ages of 12. That was had a approval letter for surgery, an approval letter for hormones within a 90-minute appointment with this head of service. And then 1 month after the 13th birthday, that's when Layla had a double mastectomy done, unfortunately. So very, very fast track process, insanely fast tracking process. So we're kind of up to the ages of 17, but I want to kind of go back on myself because I've went a bit too fast, too forward. Um, so after your surgery, right, you're chasing this dragon, Layla. You're trying to conform into a stereotypical role. You're trying to change a lot more about your body just so that you feel like you're passing some more. What effects did that have on your mental health between the ages of 13 and 17? Like, where was your mental health state at this point?
My mental health was like really rough around that age. Like, and I feel like the testosterone, it did not help with my mental health. Like, I, I had issues with self-harm from a very early age, like before any of these interventions. But like, once I started taking testosterone, like I was never aggressive to like other people at all, but like I got more aggressive with myself. Like my self-harm like worsened and like, you know, I guess I started switching methods. Um so like I was my mental health was not good.
Did they put you on at any point? Did they put you on any medication for your mental health, or was it just the testosterone? Did you end up
Yeah,
getting?
there was a period of time after I discontinued the antipsychotic, the Risperdal, that I wasn't on psych meds, but um I want to say by 14 I was back trying out different psych meds. Like I've been on Abilify. That one didn't really do anything. I was on Prozac for like a long time, like from about 14 to 17 I was taking Prozac, and like I ended up like being put on the max dose at one point of that. Um
So
and it was kind of helpful, but like
I'm going
So
to ask a very un-American question, right? In the UK, I don't really hear anybody. I don't know if we can actually prescribe Prozac in the UK, and I don't know anyone that has had Prozac. So for anyone that's kind of UK based that might not know what Prozac is, do you want to just explain what it does to you?
yeah, it's an antidepressant. It's pretty commonly prescribed out here, I'm pretty sure.
yeah.
You know, I feel like it kind of like it worked by just like kind of dulling my emotions a bit, like, and I kind of had like a lot of brain fog. That's actually the whole reason I went off that medication, was because like it was kind of making it difficult for me to like write papers for school and stuff. So
Hmm. So
I ended up like cold turkeying it at one point because I was just sick of taking it.
I'm just reading the chat there, so we do actually take it, but we call it fluoxetine. So I've actually been on fluoxetine, and it's kind of a numbing sense that you get off of it. It's insane that you're on a
Right.
high dose though at such a young age, that they've got you so wired on medication, plus also taking testosterone, which on its own has these effects on you. You know, I started taking testosterone again when my levels were low when I started detransitioning, and just even though it's the hormone that was supposed to be in my body, just the reaction that my own body had to this, as you mentioned, the aggression. Christy mentioned it earlier on, where I joined the gym. I had to go out and do physical exercise to kind of let it all out, so to speak. So for you to be experiencing this at such a young age, so medicated at such a young age, and you mentioned obviously previously about the you know CSA that you experienced, and other traumas that you had had. Is anybody touched on this at this point? Is there any help getting given to you? Have you spoken out about it at this stage? Is the doctors kind of taking a step back and you have spoken about it, and now they're like, right, well, shit, we should have, treated this issue before actually medicating this individual? Is anybody asking questions?
Oh no, like they never even asked if I had a history of that. And I never brought it up. Of course, it's like a shameful thing to talk about. So it's like they didn't ask, I didn't disclose it. um, yeah.
When you were self, well, I'll just call it SH for TikTok, when you were doing that, was it like a release for you? Like you had all like anger or frustration and it was like the only way you could get it out? Like it was a
Oh yeah,
release?
no, 1,000%. Especially, it was, I wouldn't say it was needed because, of course, it's like not,
Right.
um, it's a harmful behavior, but like that was just the only outlet I really had at the time, especially once I was on the testosterone for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I had been doing that since, before the testosterone, but it got so much worse. Like I was never hospitalized for it, but
Did you hide it?
you know, I did. I did.
Yeah. And so during this period, what kind of conversations did you have with your parents? Like you'd had this double mastectomy at barely 13 years old. You were on these medications, you were suffering with other mental health issues. What were the conversations like with your parents? Like were they trying to help you through it, or were they just lost and didn't know what to do, or like You know, what were they? What was your relationship with them at this time?
I had a good relationship with them, but they didn't know what to do. Like, to kind of like circle back a little bit, like, um, the whole trans thing was not on their radar, especially back then.
Right.
And between what the doctors were telling them, but also like, they kind of thought it was akin to having a gay child. And like, I have pretty liberal parents. So, they wanted to be like accepting and all that. Um, they thought it was kind of like in the same vein, I guess.
Mm. Like being gay.
Hmm.
Right. Like, like completely like thought it was like immutable and it's just, how somebody is, like,
Did you
type
ever
of thing.
um so circling back, and if you don't want to talk about this, please just say so. But with the SH, was there a point where medications helped you with that, or is it something that just continued on and it was like a release for you from everything that you were suffering?
Yeah, I don't really feel like the medications like did much to help at all with that issue in particular. Like it was just an ongoing habit that I didn't stop until I was like 18 or so. Um, and I've been clean of that habit for, quite some time. Without the help of medication. Like I'm
Okay.
not currently taking any psych meds.
Yeah. And I just, my heart breaks for you. Um,
So we get to.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. Take a second. Right. So we're at the ages of 17. This is when you're kind of starting to realize actually there's been a fuck up here. Something terrible has happened. How did you go about starting your detransition? Did you speak to your gender clinic about it?
Yeah, so I didn't even know detransition was a thing. I was just kind of like figuring it out as I went. Like I didn't even have the verbiage to explain what I was doing when
Mm-hmm.
I was like reverting back to living as female. So I didn't talk to the gender doctor about it. I was kind of scared to, but also I just didn't have the words. Um, I started tapering myself off the testosterone completely solo without medical supervision because I was tired of doing the injections every week because I at that point I started self-injecting. um and I mean, injecting in general not a fun thing, but especially for me, my injection site, because it was subcutaneous. I was instructed to inject like in my stomach, like either side of my belly button, like alternating each week.
Mm-hmm.
So and it got like especially more difficult too to like inject at that site as I lost weight, and like it was just harder to like do. Um so yeah, I cold well no, I didn't cold turkey it, but like I started spacing out and like mitigating my dosage, just winging it entirely
So
by myself.
what issues did you see from coming off of tea? Like what issues did you start seeing developing?
Um,
In fact, let me ask that question again. What issues did you have by being on tea? So did you get any side effects from tea? Did you have issues with bones? We hear that a lot, that bone density you start getting issues with bones, atrophy. Is there any of these symptoms that you got because of tea? Tea being testosterone, guys, sorry.
um, I'm not 1,000% sure that it was the hormones, or even it could have been from the Lupron. I'm not positive. So I can't say definitively, but around 16, I started having like joint issues. Like, I'm pretty sure I was like 15 or 16 the first time I ever threw out my back. And I didn't even do anything strenuous. I just woke up one day in just like excruciating pain, couldn't even sit up out of bed. Um, and it resolved like after a couple days, but those couple days were rough. Especially I wasn't offered any pain relief. Like, my mom and I called the because there's like an advice nurse like phone line with Kaiser, and I'm pretty sure most insurance companies probably do that. But we called the advice nurse and was pretty much told there's nothing we can do. Like, as long as you are still continent and you're not like wetting yourself, like, you're fine.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was rough. It's like I just wanted like a little bit of pain relief or something, but I wasn't even offered that. Best I could do is just take Tylenol and ibuprofen and just thug it out, kind of thing.
Did you get any
Did-
scan? Oh, sorry, Danielle. Did you get any
No, go-
scans or anything done?
No, I didn't have
Nothing?
any scans done at that time when I like had my back all messed up. Like, they did do an x-ray prior to putting me on the testosterone of like my hand. I think it was like a bone age scan.
Mm-hmm.
To pretty much see, I guess, because they can look at the growth plates in the hand, in the bones, and determine if somebody's done with puberty. And it was determined when I was 12 that I was done with puberty, so that's why they were more comfortable with moving me forward with the hormonal treatments.
Well, the reason that I asked that is, and I'm relating it to my own. So about 2 years, 2 maybe 3 years after starting cross-sex hormones myself, funnily enough, I put my back out, and it was in the exact same manner where I didn't do anything extraneous. I wasn't lifting or running or doing any form of exercise. I woke up in the morning, I seemed fine, and then all of a sudden I couldn't move. And it turned out that it was a herniated disc. So I'm just wondering if there's any correlation between cross-sex hormones, the issues that it gives to your endocrine system, and with the joints. Like, it's weird that two people are experiencing the same thing round about the same time frame of being on cross-sex hormones. Or maybe I'm just I'm doing one of them. What's it called? Conspiracy theory jargons.
No, I think it makes sense because I've heard that from other detransitioners as well. I mean, I throw my back out because I'm old. So you guys should not be doing that, at young ages. My God, my brain is just
Right.
trying to,
It's
I just, my heart hurts for Layla being so young and experiencing so much trauma, not only mentally, but physically. And, were people there for you, Layla, when you decided to detransition? Did anybody help walk you through this process? Were there doctors saying maybe we can do reconstructive surgery? Like, was there anybody there for you, or were you just kind of like cast out on your own?
Yeah, I was kind of pretty much on my own with it, like, entirely. Like, I was seeing a psychiatrist and a therapist at the time, but I never really brought it up, even though it's kind of obvious that I was detransitioning. Because I started growing out my hair and wearing like women's clothes again. It was obvious, and I had people in my life like ask, like, "Are you going back?" And I was like, "No, this is just how I look." I don't know, man, because I had no idea what the hell I was
Yeah.
doing. Um,
Did you feel like people would treat you
So,
differently
yeah,
after?
I was pretty much just figuring it out as I went.
Yeah. Do you feel like people were going to
Yeah,
treat you differently
I was
because you went through this whole process and then you're like, oh, just kidding. Maybe I'm not a boy, did you feel like people were gonna like shun you or be upset with you?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, no, for sure. Like, I guess that's kind of why I was hesitant to tell anybody. Like,
Mhm.
I don't think I even admitted that I was detransitioning until like shortly after I turned 18, like right after I turned 18. And it was kind of awkward. It was like I I kind of just like dropped a bomb on my mom like one day. I was just like, "Hey, so I'm changing my name again, and I'm going back to using, you know, um, female pronouns." And then I just kind of like left and escaped the conversation because I didn't know how to bring it up. I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
So
Um,
what
but
like
yeah, I was worried about because sorry,
no, on you go, keep going.
like I had people ask me, as a kid when I underwent this, like, are you sure this is what you want? And I was like, yeah. And it's like I didn't want to be like hit with like an I told you so type of thing. I didn't want to admit I was wrong.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Which I think is very common in the detransition community. This is why we see a lot of people just silently do it, a bit like yourself, where they just kind of wean themselves off of the medication that they're on without any guidance. So I want to ask now, this is a personal question, so feel free not to answer it. But when you spoke to your parents and said, obviously, the news that you were going to start going back to you, or well, start using the name Layla, and you were detransitioning, you were coming off of this medication. How did they feel at the fact that they signed off on allowing you to go through with a double mastectomy? Was there any, were they upset with themselves? Is probably the best way to ask.
Oh, for sure. Like there's definitely like a lot of you know, they feel terrible about it. And it's like I don't hold any like fault or blame because they were being told by the doctors like this is what to do. But I know they still kind of beat themselves up for it even to this day.
And I don't think anybody would look to place blame onto your parents, to be fair, especially because the doctors are the ones saying, just as Danielle said earlier on, about would you rather have an alive son or an unalive daughter? This 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 rhetoric is peddled to parents and pushed onto parents, making them feel kind of captured and cornered in a sense that they have to do this for their child because every parent wants to see the best for their kids. They don't want to see their kids experiencing anything harmful. And this is sold as that. It's sold that your child is going through harm and this is the way to save them and this is the way to get them help and you know sign this form because this is going to make your daughter better. And we ultimately come to understand that no, it's not the right decision to do, but at the time parents just want the best. So so we're up to 18. You've started going back to your to Layla. I know that you mentioned earlier on that you didn't actually go back to your given name. This is now the name that you go by as Layla, um, Layla Jane to be precise. So where do we go from here then? So I think a couple of questions, and I noticed a couple of people wanting me to ask it, and I think this is probably the best time to ask this question to you. Is obviously you were on testosterone what from the ages of was it 12 to 17? 12 to 17, so a 5 year time frame on testosterone.
Yes.
Are you able to have you went back to a normal cycle and are you able to actually have children? Has anyone told you this information?
Yeah, so as part of my lawsuit, I had to undergo like a lot of evaluations. Like I was pretty much like evaluated by doctors from like head to toe, honestly. Um and I saw like
a fertility specialist, and I did multiple rounds of like blood tests to like check my hormones and see, and I can't get a straight answer on whether or not I'm infertile. Like he doesn't know, like he can't give me like a definitive yes or no. So
Did they talk
I'm
to you?
not 1,000% sure. Like my hormones are, huh?
Sorry, keep going. There's just a lag. Sorry.
Yeah, like so my endocrine system, I don't think is too terribly damaged. Like I'm in relatively normal ranges for, an adult human female, like in my age range. Um, like I do produce estrogen. It's a little low, but it's still in like the okay range. Like I don't have a regular cycle anymore. Like it's super duper regular. Um, but other than that, like my body is kind of like bounced back fairly well.
Sorry, Danielle, go ahead.
Sorry, Christy, real quick. Did they explain these possible risks when you were 12, 13 years old? Did they say you may never be able to have children? You may, was that even something that you were able to comprehend at that age?
I'm sorry, I'm having some connection issues. Can you repeat yourself?
Yeah. So before you had when you started the testosterone and you had the double mastectomy, did they talk to you about like the possibility that you may never have children or you may never be able to breastfeed?
Yeah, so as far as the surgery goes, they used very excuse me, like very watered down terms. Like the whole mastectomy, it wasn't referred to as a mastectomy, it was referred to as top surgery. And I was told that I would never be able to quote unquote chest feed. But of course, like at like 12, 13, I didn't care about that. But like one thing I wasn't told, so when they do they're cosmetic, these mastectomies, for, trans reasons, they don't always remove everything. And I've had this confirmed. I've had an ultrasound done of my chest. They left in the mammary glands, but they're severed. They're not like connected, you know, because like my nipples are like grafted on, so it's completely disconnected. So if I were to conceive a child, my body would attempt to start producing milk, but it would be trapped. There'd be no way to get it out. So that's like a major complication that I had no idea about. So, if I ever do decide to, have a family like that, I will require a surgery beforehand to prevent that whole issue.
Yeah, that happened to Prisha. You know, Prisha Mosley. That happened with
Yeah.
her. Yeah, she had the same thing when she got pregnant. The mammary glands were severed, so the milk got trapped, and she said the pain that she experienced from like the milk stretching her mammary glands out was pretty much unbearable. I had to ask you something, and I forgot. Oh, when it comes to checking your fertility, if you need like help with patient advocacy, I can help. I love fertility stuff. And you would have to ask them to check your AMH, your FSH, your LH, so your follicle stimulating hormone, your luteinizing hormone, and your anti-Mullerian hormone. Ask them to give you a scan on your ovaries, see if there's any cysts going on, and then check your hormone levels as a whole. Do like a full panel, and then you can kind of gauge where your fertility might be. But your AMH would be very, very important.
I can't even imagine having milk trapped. I mean, I remember just when I would get full and needed that release and to have no escape for your milk. I cannot even imagine how painful that would be.
Yeah, it's honestly like really scary to think about. Like I had No idea. Like, I don't know if this, because, of course you're told that, oh, you'll never be able to chest feed, so I assumed, okay, they're removing everything, but clearly not. And it's scary because, like, I do want reconstructive surgery, but I am pretty scared of, like, going under the knife and, reopening old scars.
Yeah.
I don't know if maybe this is kind of like me almost getting a little bit conspiracy theorist, but, like, I almost kind of wonder, like, was my surgeon kind of setting me up to need another procedure? Like, was that, like, intentional to get, like, a repeat, like,
I
I
think
guess
it's
repeat customer?
yeah, I think it's creating lifelong patience.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, you're going to
Oh,
be
1,000%.
yeah, having to be dependent on these pharmaceutical companies and these doctors. It's sick. It's sick. It makes me angry. Really, yeah, makes me angry.
So,
I'll be right back.
okay, you've kind of touched on it already, but I just want to confirm it with you. So you're completely off testosterone. Did they put you onto any form of estrogen while you were coming off of testosterone?
No, I have not.
And have you had your
I've
estrogen
never
levels
taken
checked
estrogen.
recently? Sorry, on you go. Continue, please.
Yeah, I've had them checked within the last year, and they're. Oh, sorry. Um, my estrogen levels are just a little bit low for a woman my age, but they're in the okay zone.
Mm-hmm.
I know at one point I was recommended a prescription for topical estrogen to help with, like, issues with, like, um atrophy and, like, urinary, like, overactive bladder. It's like an issue I have from the testosterone, is like I have to go I have to urinate, like, super often. And, like, I feel the urge to go, like, super strongly, even though, like, I'll go and there's, like, barely any urine needing to, like, come out, like, but it just feels super urgent. It feels like I have a full bladder even when I don't. Like,
A lot of women that take
um
testosterone suffer from incontinence, and pelvic floor dysfunction. So that's probably what you're
right.
experiencing. Yeah, you might just have. I don't think that actually goes away, unless they have some sort of medication for it. But I'm pretty sure that that's just like completely from the testosterone itself.
Yeah, like, I was recommended topical estrogen to help with that and ease it a little bit, but um my insurance doesn't want to cover it, so I just don't feel like fighting them, so I'm just like, whatever. Like, it doesn't, I'm not, like, incontinent, like, I can, I'm not, like, having accidents or nothing, so it's like I can live with it, but it's not comfortable.
I mean, I think the point is like, why should you have to live with it, right? And then on top of that, I think,
Right.
people that detrans are going to have to do a little bit of and I mean this like completely respectfully, like soul searching and self advocacy when it comes to the doctors, because I think you're going to have to really balance what's going to be important to you and what you need to really fix, because the doctors are not going to help. Right. So you're going to have to really push when it comes to your fertility. You're going to have to push for the blood work. You're going to have to push. You're going to have to sit in the office and go, you're going to have to really find your voice and speak up and say, I'm not leaving this office until you give me this prescription because I want to check my fertility. It's not a negotiation. You're going to have to really put your foot down with these doctors and just pretty much demand what you need from them, because I don't think, like how you just said, like, oh, you're not super, you're not like wetting yourself or whatever, but you shouldn't have to live like that, right? Like they should have to fix this problem that they did. So you should speak up about it. And obviously I'm not going to tell you what to do, but you should try to get your body in its best shape back to
Yeah.
semi-normal that you can get it. And that's going to require you to really dig deep inside and find your voice to do that advocacy and demand these tests and these prescriptions from your doctors. You're going to have to do it if you really, really want to get your body as close to normal as possible.
And you, I don't mean
Yeah,
to.
it's
Sorry.
sorry.
No, on you go, Layla. Go.
Oh yeah, it's really difficult to like advocate for myself like that. Like I'm not a very confrontational person, and like I have a hard time like putting my foot down, especially when it comes to these things. So I'm just like, well, I'm not gonna die, so like whatever
Mhm.
kind of
Would
thing.
So
would
I've.
the
On you go, babe.
would do you know if the insurance will cover your reconstructive surgery if you choose to have it? Sorry, I don't know if somebody asked that or not.
No, I was just about to be fair.
Oh,
Oh, meaning
there is a lot, but I'm not on Kaiser anymore. I lost my Kaiser insurance around the time I turned 18 or 19 I think is when I lost my insurance. Um, with Kaiser. There is a law, but this is like kind of specific to like cases of breast cancer. So I don't know if this would be applicable to me, but like insurers that cover mastectomy are required to cover reconstruction, but I don't know if that applies for like the whole trans thing. But I'm pretty certain that the insurer that I have now, especially because they're not the one that did the procedure, will not cover reconstruction.
Mhm. The one
they
thing that I
should.
would, sorry, the one thing that I would certainly do is check and speak to them about it. Also, I've firsthand seen the advocacy that Christie does, especially with trans-identified individuals in the health field sort of thing. Um, just to very quickly, I don't want to deviate away from what we're talking about now, but there was a gentleman that was on this app. It's a lot of issues going on, but was able to get access to cross-sex hormones with no real evaluation. Christie jumped in. That doctor that was trying to medicate him backed all the way fucking off, took 10 steps back the way. I ain't touching this patient. Saved the day. So please, and I don't mean to phrase it like this, Christy, but I'm going to phrase it like this. Use Christie's expertise when it comes to this. Tap in
I wouldn't
to
say it's expertise. I just have a big mouth. So
that is an
yeah, it's definitely
expertise
not.
though.
I'm definitely not an expert. I would just say that I have a big fat mouth,
No,
So
and
that's
that is
what
sometimes my
needs to
mouth.
happen.
Yeah,
That's
and
what needs
sometimes
to
my
happen.
mouth helps. You know.
yeah,
Yeah,
that is your
yeah, for sure.
expertise though. Your expertise is you have zero fucks and zero filter. So we need
Yeah.
people, detransitioners like us need people like that to fight in our corners. Was, you know, I've got a big mouth myself when it comes to my detransition, but there's a lot of detransitioners that don't speak, that want to just remain silent. So when we get people like yourself, this is why I implore Layla, please make contact, and anything that you need help with, and Christy can help, she definitely would. Same with myself, same with Danielle, and same with a lot of people that's watching. Um, I w- I just want to reiterate what Christy has said to you, that you shouldn't have to live with anything subpar in your life because these doctors put you in this position. So fight for everything, honestly, and see when you've not got any fight left, come to us and we'll fight for you and let you recharge.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. You
Yeah,
have to, you're your best advocate.
Yeah. And
So
I
we're
just
here
sometimes,
soon.
worry because it's like, sorry.
no, and you go.
I just worry because it's like, all right, if they don't even want to cover like for me to get supplemental estrogen to help with certain issues, it's like I feel like there's no way in hell they're gonna cover reconstructive surgery.
That's
Like,
what when we have to fight, right? Gotta fight.
it's true.
Absolutely. That's it. That is when the fight means the most, is when they're refusing to, and the reason that they do refuse is on the basis that it's not recognised in any kind of health profession. Detransition is still an anomaly. It's not, we don't have any medical codes, we don't have any ICD codes, we don't have any billing codes for the US, so there's absolutely nothing. So that's their get out. Let me get out of this by saying, well, we can't bill someone for this. We can get out of this because it's not in the ICD-10 or an ICD-11, whatever one we're on now. And it's let's make a change together, and to make that change, we need to be the ones fighting for it. But I know you have mentioned and I've seen a lot of people in the comments asking about this, but you have mentioned about a lawsuit. I don't want to ask you questions because I don't know what stage you're at the lawsuit. I forget. So I'm going to just put it over
I
to
can
you.
talk about it.
Perfect. Do you want to
My
explain the
suit actually got
details?
dismissed. Yeah, so I guess I'll start like how I even got into this lawsuit because it's kind of a funny story. Was the whole reason I got into this was I was 18, freshly 18, and I was having a really rough night. Like it was just a really shitty night. And I'm up at 2 a.m. I Googled my doctor's names because I was just curious. And it's kind of like this one website that's like Yelp, but for doctors came up. And like I looked at the reviews for my gender doc, and the fucking the first and only review I think on there at the time was terrible doctor being sued by Chloe Cole. So then I looked up, I searched who's Chloe Cole, and I like read an article or two, and then I found like the public paperwork for her case, and I read through it, and I went to the bottom. I was like, what firm is representing her? And I went to their website, and they had a form on their site was, do you have a similar story? Reach out to us. And like, I kind of typed like the gist of my story, and they reached back to me within like 24 hours. I was in contact with them, having like a Zoom meeting to like figure out like, do I have a case? Like, and that case was ongoing up until like summer, I want to say like June or July of last year. It got dismissed, and it didn't get dismissed due to any merit of the case. It got dismissed because, okay, so I was bound to arbitration, private arbitration. I did not agree to this. I did not consent. It was just a clause in the paperwork my parents signed up to get Kaiser insurance, and like, it's small print. Nobody reads the small print, and they obviously didn't know. It was news to me when I got in touch with the firm. So I was bound to that. I didn't have an option to have a jury trial if I wanted. That just wasn't in the cards for me. So yeah, my arbitrator threw out my case citing statute of limitations, which statute of limitations, which I highly disagree with that ruling, but there's really nothing I can do. Because I went to file my lawsuit like very shortly, like within 6 months of turning 18. I was I was already like freshly detransitioned. Like I hadn't even been detransitioned for a full year and off the testosterone for a full year yet. Like it's not like I waited hella long, and I was finally able to sign my own legal documents. But in my arbitrator's opinion, the clock for statute of limitations, which is 3 years in California, the clock started ticking the day of my surgery. Even though I was still on testosterone,
12.
harm was still being done. 13, barely 13, but
barely
yeah.
13. Oh my God.
Yeah, so I was pretty much told like, I mean, I wasn't told it like this, but basically what I gathered is tough shit. You should have sued by 16.
That's insane.
Even though I didn't even detransition yet.
And even though you were still a minor, you should have gotten an attorney at 16 years old. That's insane to me.
Yeah, honestly, like this whole affair has just made me completely lose faith in our justice system. I walked away. I didn't get a penny out of my lawsuit. And it's so irritating. Is like people call me a grifter all the time, and it's like, what grift?
Yeah.
Like I didn't make any money off this. Like, what the hell?
That's actually like, I think that's where the fight comes into, is to keep telling your story, keep speaking out, keep showing up to these different events and getting your story out there, because there's so many listeners that aren't speaking up. They're afraid to speak up.
My goal at this point is just to be a thorn in Kaiser's ankle. Like, I'm gonna make them regret not settling with me and making, because I was willing to settle. I was willing to settle for like, a reasonable amount, instead of getting my full damage cap, but that didn't happen. So I'm gonna make them regret not making me sign an NDA and just giving me a little bit of money. Like, they're gonna regret that.
So, Layla, do you have? I thought I seen this might have been another detransitioner, but a GoFundMe.
I do have a Give Send Go. I don't really like to like promote it very much because like I feel bad.
Well, can
Feel
I?
bad
Where
doing
can I
that.
find this, and I'll promote it for you? Because I'm sure that there will be some people that would
Um
like to contribute.
yeah, I can totally send you the link after the stream.
Yes, please do,
It's
and I'll
just to
put it on the.
cover.
I'll put it onto because I'm going to post clips from this, so I'll put it onto the clips. So anyone, I'll have a clip hopefully up tonight at some point. And if anybody wants to donate anything, please either send me a direct message and I can get the link directly over to you, or look out for this clip and it will be in the clip itself. The comments will have it in it. MB, I see you.
Andy's saying to send
Thank
it to her
you.
as well.
Yeah, I'll send it over to you, MV. Just for anyone that would, because I know that that is set up for reconstructive surgery, I'm sure, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Well, send me it over, and we'll push it out on TikTok and see if we can get any kind of
Thank
assistance
you.
for you to do so, because every little helps when it comes to something like that. And the prices that it costs to get reconstructive surgery is ridiculous, and should be something that was covered
Oh
by your
yeah.
insurance and the lawsuit. Insanity. So where do you sit now? So you went through the process of filing a lawsuit. They've sadly refused to hear it out because of statute of limitations, which to me is absolutely buffoonery at the fact that, in fact, let me ask, can you enter litigation under the age of 18?
I
In
think
the
you have to have your
Not
parents.
without. Yeah, you to enter litigation as a minor, you have to have a parent do that on your behalf here.
And this is why
Um,
there shouldn't be a statute of limitations attached to something like this, because I don't know. I'm honestly puzzled that the courts themselves would actually turn around and uphold the statute of limitation when it comes to something like this, considering you didn't actually start a detransition until the age of 18. So in the UK, it's not statute of limitation, but you've got a 3-year window to sue, but it's from the date that you realise harm has happened. So for instance, I'll have 3 years
right.
to sue the NHS from last May. That's when I stopped medicalising. That's the time that I realised actually harm could have potentially happened in my case. So, if they went from when I started, well, that's when I was 27, I'm 33 now, so it would have completely been by that point. You would think that they would have something set up like that, that it would be from the date that harm is supposed to have, that you had noticed harm potentially could have happened.
Yeah, that's how it's supposed to be, but that's just not how it went in my case. Like, and like we thought, I don't think I can like publicly name him, otherwise I totally would, but like I don't think I'm allowed to. But like we thought we were going with the fair arbitrator, but because like he had ruled against Kaiser in other cases that he was the arbitrator for. So like we thought, okay, he's not like biased, he's not like in Kaiser's pocket, but yeah, he ruled against me on that. It's a whole reason.
Uh,
That's insane to me.
yeah, as to me. Um, So where are we sitting now? So we've went through this process. We've medicalized. Unfortunately, you've been through surgeries. Um, Hopefully we'll get some sort of resolve for reconstructive surgery for you in the future. Um, where are you now? Are you happier? Are you more content in your life? I know you says that you want to be a thorn in Kai's side, so to speak. I personally have watched a lot of stuff that you've done. I've seen the events that you've attended, the panels that you've sat on. I've watched the interviews that you've done. I've heard your story countless times, but I've also heard you articulate yourself in a way that is very uncommon for someone of the age of 21, but very uncommon for someone that's had a lot of hurt done to them. Um, so where's your mindset now? What does the future hold for Layla Jane?
I'm just kind of like living, I guess, every day at a time. I'm trying to like figure out like what my long-term plans are. Like I know I want to keep speaking out and doing events and all that. And especially like it kind of brings me a little bit of like it's kind of cathartic to be able to share my story and like share like tips and stuff, like hoping that I can help the next person who ends up, a detransitioner. Um, or if I can
Mm-hmm.
prevent somebody from doing what I did. Um, but other than that, I'm not really sure. Like I know I want to go back to school and like do some college, but I don't really know like what exactly I want to go for yet. And I don't
So,
want to like
I just one quick question. So, if you could, if you could take society right now, what would your goal be for kids who are, struggling with their bodies? Would you
um
ban all gender affirming care for minors, or have you thought about it?
oh 1,000%. Yeah, no. Minor should be completely off the table as far as transition goes. Like I don't think it's ethical. I don't even really think it's ethical for adults, but especially the way that things have gone, it's like we can't really govern adults like that. Like if they are of sound enough mind to consent, like
Yeah.
do I think it's a good idea? No, but again, we can't control adults, so
Mm-hmm.
but at bare minimum, like it should be banned for minors.
Absolutely. I
Yeah,
agree.
And you know,
I think we would all
they
agree on the
should
panel about that. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
But there's one final question for me, and then I've got a couple of messages for questions. I know Danielle, you've got a couple of questions written down, so we'll get to that. And then if you're okay with it, we can open up the panel. Christy, if you've got any further questions, or if anybody else that's watching would like to come up and ask Layla any questions, if Layla's okay with it, we can open up the panel to have people up. I'll bring one person up at a time to ask a question. And I just remind everybody to be very respectful because I have no issues with kicking you the fuck off the panel if you're being disrespectful.
Same.
Um, but one question that I will ask you, and I will ask every single detransitioner that I do an interview with, is if you can sit in a room with 10-year-old Layla, what advice would you give to yourself?
Um, let's see. That's if I was in a room with like my 10-year-old self, I think the first thing I would do would be like give her a hug and I would try to explain to my younger self that like, puberty sucks. It's shitty, but it's necessary and it's gonna get better eventually. It may not feel like it at the time, but it will. And, like it's easier said than done, but like just quit giving a shit about all the other kids like that were teasing me. Like they're they don't really matter that much. Like it's not like I run into these people as an adult, even though I live in the same town that I grew up in. Like you know, after everybody graduates high school, you're never gonna see them again, really. Like they don't matter. You know, I would try to explain that like a lot of these issues that I'm having, both like, you know, because I had a lot of issues socially, and then like also like I have a lot of issues due to my autism. Like I have like sensory problems sometimes, like I get overwhelmed easily and stuff. Um, you know, I would try to explain like, hey, like you're not like everybody else, and that's okay. Like you're just on the spectrum, man. Like I think like having a why or like an explanation behind like all of the issues that I was having definitely would have been really helpful. Like just oh okay, this is all it is. Like that makes sense. But it's like I was struggling and I didn't know why. I feel like that's kind of like what made it a little bit more difficult, was like I didn't have anything to point to, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not going to lie, I nearly burst out to tears when you said that I'd just give her a hug. My heart breaks. Honestly,
Oh.
my heart is breaking hearing this story. Right.
You know, it's funny. Sorry.
No, go on. You go. This is your space.
Um, what's kind of funny is like I forget how fucked up my story is sometimes, and like I'll just casually explain like horrific details, and then I'll be like, oh shit, when like somebody starts getting emotional, like I forget it's as bad as it is, because it's just, you know, I'm like desensitized to it. Like it
Yeah,
just is what it is.
and it's your story. You know, you've lived that. As you said, you've become desensitized at the fact that you lived that reality. Like us hearing it for the first time from the horse's mouth, it's as though we're kind of living in a sense with you through this story. So you've probably felt all of these emotions that we felt or we are feeling. You've already felt them. You've kind of processed them in a sense. So it's totally understandable. But oh, we're all here for anything that you may need, and keep sharing your story far and wide. Keep posting up your videos, giving people advice. Watching, you know, I watched your video the other day where you were talking about shaving, and you know, something as simple as I do it like this and it helps. And I thought it's amazing that you know, something so simple, but yet you're sharing it out. You know, and it's you'd keep
Yeah,
doing them
like
things.
yeah, like, you know, even that video, that's something that like even a year ago I would have been absolutely mortified to even admit to like people in my close life, but now it's just like, you know, it's whatever. Like I've heard everything shitty there is to say online. Like literally I made my Twitter account the same day that I did my first ever interview on Fox News. And the things that I got called and the comments that like poured in, like there's literally slurs for like female detran or I guess any female who transitions and has the surgery. Like I was honestly like I wasn't even upset. I was just like, wow, you guys are creative. Like, you know what? Props, I guess. Like it's fucked up, but like I was just like gobstruck. I was just like, wow.
Yeah, you shouldn't need to experience that. You've experienced enough. But I mean, at least you can see the laughter in someone's wittiness, I suppose. But I'm going to ask you. Well, Malatov, you're here. Do you want to ask your question yourself, or do you want me to ask? Malatov is the board for today, guys. By the way.
I am the poster in the corner. Hi. Um I was just wondering, like, when it came to the point in time that you were transitioning, so say like as an early teen when it really kicked in, what was your friend circle like? And were there any other trans
Um
people in the friendship circle?
Honestly, I didn't really, especially at the time that I first started to transition, I didn't have friends. Like, I did have like a circle of like friends prior to falling into the whole transition thing, but that kind of, I already fell out with them, um, like around the time that I started to ideate as trans. I don't even know if I would consider them friends because like they constantly like ragged on me and picked on me, but like they still like let me come around and stuff. It was a little weird.
Okay.
So yeah, no, I didn't know any other like trans identified kids when I first got into it. Like I was the only one at my school.
Did you have any like online forums or anything where you talk to other like trans peers around the same age?
Um like I was online a whole ton, but like I didn't really interact with like other trans identified kids online. Even when I was like well into my transition and like offered to go to like support groups and stuff locally, like I never did it because like I didn't want to be friends with somebody purely on the basis of, oh, I'm trans, so is this person. Like I wanted to like make friends with somebody like based on like their character, not just, oh, we both happen to be trans. Like so I didn't really have any other like trans friends.
Oh, that's cool. No, I just wanted to know kind of what your social circle online and offline looked like at the time. You seem to be a little bit of an anomaly, kind of going solo on this because it does seem to be like a cluster thing, um, around like your age group, if that makes sense. Like there's always like activity on online forums, or they have 3 or 4 friends that are trans, things like that. But yeah, it's really unique that you kind of you've done this on your own. Do you know what I mean? Like
Right.
this whole journey was just you taking this on by yourself and coming out the other side, and that's admirable. But thanks for answering my question.
Thank you. Of course.
Before you open up the panel, also, Layla, I just want to say thank you so much for coming up and telling your story. You have overcome so much in your 21 years. I just wish that I could just have hugged you and been there along the way, because I do relate to a lot of the other side of your story, not the trans stuff, but no child should go through those issues, with mental health. And I just really, my heart goes out to you. And I'm here to help, to talk, whatever you need. I'm so proud of you for having the courage to step up and tell your story and to help others, because there are so many kids that are going through what you went through.
Thank you. Yeah, it's wild, like how the whole, because like I transitioned before it was really as popular as I feel like it is now, and especially like I feel like it really blew up around like the COVID like lockdowns close to like 2020 or so. Like I I did it first. I mean, I'm not saying I was like the first trans kid, but like compared to like this wave that we see now. Oh gosh, I just lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
No, I think it is, you've been through it, so I think you can help more children. And it's crazy to sit here and say children are having double mastectomies. Children. Like, I don't think people grasp that.
Yeah, like I hadn't even had like a sex ed course in school by the time I had my mastectomy. Like, I didn't even see like a diagram of like how like the organs and like the breasts and like how like the glands like work or whatever. I'd never even seen a diagram of that until like after I detransitioned.
That's crazy to me. like to think of, I'm trying to remember my daughter at 12 years old, and I'm sure a lot of the parents too are just sitting here like, I just cannot believe that people are doing this to kids.
Mm-hmm.
They're destroying them. They're setting them up for, so many horrible things, being a lifelong patient, like not ever being able to experience being a parent, just living a normal life. Like at 12 years old, you should be doing, fun things with your friends, not, having your healthy breasts removed. That just breaks my heart. And I don't think that people grasp the fact that these are children. You were a child.
Oh yeah. Like I was literally in 8th grade when I had my surgery.
That's
Like
it makes
middle
me so
school.
mad. Like it literally
Yeah.
makes me mad, like physically angry that this is happening.
You know, I think one of my biggest issues and like complications from the surgery, and this is something that like I wasn't really told about, right? Like I was told, okay, you might lose sensation. So I figured that meant numbness, but no. I have like nerve pain and like it's super irritating because like around like where my scar tissue is, it'll be like insanely itchy, but like the skin doesn't register touch, so I can't like scratch. It's like an unscratchable itch, and that drives me crazy. Like it's the itchiness that I can't scratch honestly bothers me more than like when it like is all like painful and like feels like electrical zaps or like cutting sensation almost like a slicing. Like I could deal with the pain, but the itchiness just drives me up the wall.
Will that ever go away? Like, will your nerves ever heal, or is it just something you're going to be stuck with forever?
Honestly, I'm not really sure it'll ever improve. I think this is kind of the best it gets. I'm close to a decade post-op. Like this September, I'll be 9 years out. So, yeah.
I'm so sorry, Layla. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's like
They failed you. The doctors, the surgeons, they failed you.
Yep.
yeah, they really like dropped the ball hella hard. Like the only thing I haven't tried this yet, and I'm wary because I don't really want to have to take more medications than like I'd rather live without it if I can, but like it's been mentioned that I could try gabapentin for like my nerve issues, but I'm iffy about that.
I
Haven't
can
tried it
tell you,
before.
I actually do take gabapentin, and it's amazing for nerves. It really is. I haven't had any like crazy side effects or anything, but I have noticed a huge difference in my nerve pain. So, I just my experience. I have never come across anybody who's had a bad experience with gabapentin, but I'm not saying that there, aren't people that have.
Right.
But I would say it's worth a shot. You can start out on a really low dose if needed, but I mean, do what you feel is right. And I know it's hard to say like trust the professionals, especially after what you've been through, because
Right.
fuck that. I'm sorry, but I'm just so sorry that they failed you. They failed you.
Yeah, it's like to this day I have a really hard time trusting doctors. Like I hate going to the doctor even when I actually need to. Like I just kind of put it off. I'm just like, well, I'm not actively dying, so like fuck it. Like
Well, I don't know. I can see where you're coming from though, because why would you trust the people that did this? I'm with you. I just really hope that somewhere along the line someone will come, and maybe there's a surgeon out there who will step up and say, I will help fix damage that has been done to these children. I hope that happens. especially with the amount of detransitioners that there are and that are actually coming forward and speaking like you. I think that's so important, and it gives other kids the courage to step forward and say, this happened to me also. But I hope that somewhere a surgeon will step forward and say, I will help fix the damage that's been done.
Yeah. Absolutely. Have you got any questions from the chat there, Danielle? I know that you had taken some questions down.
Yeah, so the only one, we covered a lot of these. Oh, the one thing, was there any resentment? Do you have any resentment towards your parents at all? Like,
I don't. Because I know that they're just listening to the doctors and like they're doing their best.
yeah,
I really only hold resentment towards like the medical professionals that failed.
yeah,
Like it's kind of scary to think that my surgeon still has her medical license and is still practicing. And I know for a fact I've had somebody DM me that had the exact same surgeon. I'm not the only person that she's botched.
that's crazy. And
like,
she's still out there doing it.
Yeah. And she's performing these surgeries on minors as well. It's just insane. Like,
are you okay with saying her name? Can we do that? You don't have
she's
to.
not another detransitioner.
Oh, I mean the surgeon. I'm sorry.
I think the surgeon. Oh, sorry. I thought you meant the other patient. Yeah, Winnie Tong out of San Francisco Kaiser.
Winnie, what was it?
Tong, Tong.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure if you wanted to say it, but I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I don't mind.
Michael's already typing it up. I've got it right here. Yeah, I just I can't believe, like, we know that there are children that are being operated on, right? We know that. But a lot of that community says, oh, absolutely not. Children aren't being operated on, and it's like, but they are. And a lot of times, detransitioners get shut down. And, oh, you weren't really trans, or, oh, you were like one of the only ones that this happened to. And it's like, but no.
Exactly.
Have you had a lot of hate? Have people?
Oh yeah, I mean, like I've had to close my DMs on Twitter and kind of limit who can DM me because it's a pretty steady influx of people telling me to off myself and all this, and like I get a lot of shitty comments and stuff, but it doesn't bother me. It's like,
But you shouldn't, like,
I don't know.
To me, like, it's abuse. What happened to you is abuse. And I think, like, you wouldn't tell somebody who's experienced CSA, oh, you're a liar, or how dare you tell your story, or shut up, or what about the abuser? Like, to me,
Yeah,
it just doesn't make
I've
any
gotten
sense.
so many DMs telling me to shut up, like so many
I'm
DMs.
sure.
Like, oh my god. Somebody even like at one point like literally found my Substack and like DM'd me through there telling me to off myself. I was just like, wow, you took a creative route there, bud.
Well,
You
I
DM me on
actually,
Substack of all platforms.
yeah, it's crazy, and you shouldn't be getting that hate because you are telling your story. And I actually messaged you on Instagram a little while back, and it hit me after I sent that message. I was like, she's probably got all of her stuff turned off, because I did want to talk to you. And when Michael said, oh, I'm gonna do, I was like, what? Like, I just, because I'd
wow.
seen your story so many times, Layla, and same with Chloe Cole. And I just, you guys, your voices are so important. They're so, so important. And I'm so proud of you both for like standing up and telling your story and not letting anybody silence you.
You know what's funny now that I think about it? that just reminded me. Me and Chloe Cole, we actually went to the same exact clinic,
Okay.
and we had the same gender therapist, Suzanne Watson.
Okay. Yeah, I thought that there was a Dr. Watson somewhere in there. But I wasn't sure which role was played by her. So,
Yeah, she was the gender therapist, the one that wrote the approval letters for surgery and hormones.
uh, well, I'm so happy that I was able to talk to you and meet you. And I don't mean to take up everybody's time. Like, I would love to talk to you further, though, if you're ever up for it. I can message you on here if you'd like, or if that's even okay. I don't want to overstep, but
Oh yeah, no, that's fine.
okay. Well, and I think that was the only question that I saw in the chat that we didn't already cover. So
So are you okay for me to open up the panel to other guests that might have questions?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Christy, do you have any questions?
I'm thinking actually. Give me a few minutes.
Okay. Right, guys who are watching, if anybody does have a question and wants to ask, feel free to request up to the panel. I'll bring you up one at a time. So if we get an influx of people wanting to ask questions, you might just need to wait a little minute. Please be respectful. If I feel like you're being disrespectful in any way, same with Danielle. If Danielle feels like you're being disrespectful in any way, we're just kicking you straight off the panel. You're not even getting an opportunity to apologize.
no apology, disrespectfully.
Yes, disrespectful.
You know what? Really quick. You know, every detransitioner that I've interviewed also, when we said like, what would you tell yourself? They always say that they would give themselves a hug.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel so bad, you know, for them feeling like they didn't have, I mean, I think even when you have good parents at home, I think sometimes you just need like a little extra hug, right? Like you just need a little more attention and a little bit more care. And if you see that your child is suffering, and this has nothing to do like specifically with your parents, I'm just saying in general, you know, we I guess also for people that have multiple kids, you know that certain kids need more than others, right? Like there's a certain kid that might have an issue with this or struggling with that. So you know, I think it's important to really sit and know your kids as best as you can, even though, I mean, they're not going to tell us everything, right? But I think it's just important to know them and know that each kid is like unique and needs individualized attention and love and care. So, but like just a hug, right? Like it's okay. Puberty is it's a mandatory thing that nobody wants to do, that every single person on planet Earth has to go through, right? So, I mean, that's just really all I wanted to say.
Hi, Jade.
Hello, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we
Yep.
can.
Yes.
Okay. Hi, Layla. My name's Jade. Thank you so much for telling your story. Very much appreciated. I'm very sorry for everything you've been through and how much the medical care providers and the judicial system has failed you. I can't express enough how sorry I am for that. Um, so I think it's important we really start touching on how detrimental this is to the children. We've spoken to a lot of adults on here, but we kind of hit a wall when it comes to them because they're very content where they are with transitioning. I apologize if you hear my son, but they're very content and it's hard because they get defensive when you're trying to help them understand how harmful it is. But with the children, we all understand that they can't consent to this. They don't have a full understanding of this, and you're living proof of it. So I was wondering if you've noticed a high correlation in autism and transgenderism, because from what research I've done, it said they're noticing high correlations, but I want to hear from someone who personally experiences it and is on the spectrum.
Yeah, you know, honestly, like a lot, like almost like most of the detransitioners that I like know and I'm super familiar with, like almost all of them are on the autism spectrum. Like it's very, very prevalent. I feel like I don't know exactly why, but it seems to be like kind of the like awkward kids that like are like really gifted academically but like not socially are like super susceptible to this for some reason. Um yeah, I don't know why that link is there, but it definitely exists.
So from what I've found, and it's crazy to me, it says that 1.82% of the population, like globally, is on the autism spectrum. But 6 to 26% of those individuals identify as trans. So that's
Yeah, the
very
statistics are
concerning to
like
me.
wild. Yeah, no, for sure.
Okay, that was my only question. I just wanted to see how you thought that kind of correlated or if you noticed it. But thank you.
Of course.
So we do have a question from is it Frosty Boo? It is Frosty Boo. I wrote down Frost Boo. Frosty Boo. So the question is in chat, but they've asked me to ask it for her. What do you think? What do you think the best way for parents to deal with kids caught up in this is?
Um, I'm not exactly sure what the best answer per se is, but like I think getting them off the internet in a lot of cases would be very beneficial. Getting them like going outside and like engaging in like some kind of hobby or something like that. Um, Instead of interacting in these like I guess basically like online echo chambers of like, just a bunch of trans shit. And I think definitely getting their mental health comorbidities treated and diagnosed would be like a major thing. Like ignore the trans thing. What other stuff is underlying? Like address that first and foremost, especially. Um, yeah, I think that would have benefited me for sure.
I mean, I think that's a very fair response. To be fair, we understand that um, is every child is going to be different, so it's kind of handling it to the way that the child is. But most importantly, social media is a very dangerous, or the internet is a very dangerous place, not just by the people that are on it, but by the things that kids read nowadays. So, yes, monitor and remove children from it um, where needed. AG, I can let you up, yeah. MB, I see you there, boo. Let me.
No, AG's not. Okay.
Oh,
Brother, please 5 minutes. You from Syria?
no. On you go, MB.
Yeah, sorry. Hey, Layla, how are you?
I'm good.
Yeah, so I've been in and out of the live. I was here for the most part, but I did want to ask you, I'm sorry if you have like addressed this, but I wanted to ask in terms of like friendships, right? That when you were diagnosed with gender dysphoria and, said that you were trans, um, did you have like a friendship circle? Like of trans people in the community or
Yeah, I didn't have any
yeah.
like trans identified friends. I remember because it was recommended by my doctors and my therapist to take me to like trans support groups, and like I was brought to some like support groups at my local pride center, but I didn't really like it. I kind of refused to go.
Okay,
So,
so
and I
was
didn't really
he?
have like any just like sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I think there's a little delay. My bad. Go on. My bad.
Yeah, like I honestly like I didn't really have friends like other kids as friends like just in general, especially at that age. Like I did have a couple of like online friends, but they were not trans nor were they like invested in that whole thing.
Right.
Like they were just like other kids that I met playing Xbox and would like talk to and like play games with.
Right. So when you started to tell your story about becoming like detrans and kind of what you're going through, did you get like an influx of hate from the community? Like, would you say that you're a target to the community?
Oh, 1,000%. Like I have to limit my DMs, and I honestly I don't really check my DMs that often for this exact reason.
Right.
And even like there's been times where I've gone to in-person events and like I've been screamed at, like I've had trans identified people attempt to intimidate me. But I just that's whatever.
Has that ever made
Doesn't
you
really
kind
work.
of want to like not really speak about your story? Have you gone through those kinds of phases where you don't want to speak about it and then you get, the courage? Because like, what you're doing, I would say, is really brave, right? You're kind of going against the whole ideology in that, now trans people are living their authentic lives and gender dysphoria is something that is can be diagnosed correctly. So kind of everything you're doing or have done and have gone through has kind of gone against the grain. So like, do you feel like moments of not wanting to speak out and then you find your courage, or are you just kind of going through it?
Um, I'm pretty used to speaking out. Like it's I have my moments where sometimes I'm just like, I'm not really feeling up to it, but I just kind of push through.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to ask. I can drop down for the next person to come up.
You're
But
fine,
thank you,
Emily.
Layla.
Feel free to stay up if you want.
Okay. I'll just mute.
So, are you going to Beyond Gender in Washington on the 12th of March?
Yes, I am.
I shall see you there with Christy.
Gen Specs event. Oh yay!
I am flying over
Awesome.
from the UK for it, and Christy's flying, I don't know if it's up or down, but coming from New York for it also. So the two of us will be there. I know Richie's also coming over from the UK.
Wait, he is? Oh my god, that'll be so cool to meet all you guys in person.
Oh, did you not know? I thought you would have known. But well, yes.
I did not.
Let's hope he didn't mind me telling people. But anyway, but has anybody else got any further questions? There's someone in the request, but I don't know who it is. And my request button's not working.
Hi guys.
Oh yes, Mama Red. Yes, sorry. So I have got a question for Little Red. I call Little Red Mama Red, but Mama Red would like to know if you are happier now.
Um, I'm definitely at a point in my life where, I think I'm like the most mentally stable I've ever been. I'm happy enough. Like I have my issues and I have my days, but like I'm getting along good.
I think that's really all you can ask is, you know, take it day by day and kind of live in the happiness that you can see on that particular day. And as I says, like you have a community on TikTok now. You have a community off of TikTok on Twitter, and so anytime that you need a wee chat, I'm always free for a phone call or a text message or you know whatever it may be that you need.
I appreciate it.
And I know the
Thank you.
4 ladies on the panel also will say the same, and the 173 people that are watching us now will say the same to you too. Don't ever sit in your own cloud. Um, we can help you make sunshine for you. But
Yeah, Layla, you said that you game. Like, can I ask like what you play, or do you still game now?
Yeah, I currently I'm a PC user, but like um I play a lot of stuff. Like I love retro games. Like I
Mm,
have a Nintendo 64 on my desk actually.
nice.
I used to have a Nintendo Switch. And I used to play like everything from like Pokemon to like the Zelda games to like Animal Crossing was like a huge favorite for me. Lately I mostly play like a lot of like Stardew Valley on my PC.
All right, sweet. Oh, was you ever into World of Warcraft at any point?
No, I've never played it.
Oh, have you not? Okay, that was a big game. Um, yeah, and Call of Duty. If you ever get on Call of Duty or Fortnite or anything, and you just kind of want to, you know, I don't know, chill, chat, and play or something, always, you can hit me up.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I've never actually played Fortnite, funny enough. But like I do like to play like Valorant. That's one I like.
I have no idea what that is, but it'll be fun. Yeah, try it. If you ever do, let me know. It's an easygoing game. Get on Fortnite.
Will
Eh,
do.
MB's always looking for people to carry her in COD, so sorry. I'll be quiet now. Yeah. So I don't know. Has anybody else got any questions? Speak now or forever hold your waist. Cheeky little plug for Layla. If anyone hasn't already, click on the plus sign beside Layla name and drop Layla a follow. Layla's becoming more active on TikTok, especially with uploading some help videos for detransitioners, talking about her story. So please make sure that you're following Layla and sharing the love on Layla's videos. Like them, repost them, comment them. It costs you nothing, and it takes a matter of seconds out of your day. Yeah, I don't know, Christy. Did you think of any further questions that you would like to ask? I don't know if Christy's there or not. We've got another couple of guests, so thank you, Danielle.
I don't per se have a question. I just wanted to say thank you for speaking out and let you know how important your voice is. And don't let anybody ever try to silence you because your voice matters and it is so, so important to the world right
Thank you.
now.
I appreciate it. And I
Thank you, people. Yeah, no, I just appreciate you
thank
you
you. Yeah, I appreciate
telling
all
your
you guys hearing
story.
me out today.
Yeah. So I just wanted to come up and say thank you and I appreciate it.
Lovely. But I think that is really probably a good place to end. Thank you so much for giving us your time. Thank you so much for coming up and sharing your story with us. And giving us a lot of kind of your personal story. Never mind your kind of transition and detransition story. I can't say it enough to you, but my heart absolutely bleeds for you. And just know that you're seen. Know that we're all here for you. It's a place that I've found community. It's a place that I've found really close friends and family members, people that I see as family members now, and just do the same. You know, um, if you ever see me live and you just want to come on, a lot of the time Malatoff does lives and it's just kind of shoot the shit lives. We just sit and laugh and joke and have fun. So, you're always welcome just to hop up and spend some time with us if you ever want to. Um, and Jade, I'll got you on the list, darling, now. And again, send me over the link for your um your funds, and I shall make sure to pass it out to the people that have asked for it in this live. And when I post up any clips that I'm going to post up for this, I'll put it on there. I'm also going to post it over onto my YouTube channel too. So I'll make sure to link your social medias, but also link your GoFundMe.
I think.
Thank you. I appreciate it, and I'll.
Sorry. No. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I'll definitely I'll have to come hang out on like one of your live streams again sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. Envy and Christy. They do debate lives, so does Karen. Danielle, you're doing a lot of kind of lives like this, where it's interview-based lives, bringing more people to the app, trying to build a D-trans community on the app for us also. So I greatly appreciate that, and I know that anyone on the panel here will be happy for you to come up onto their panel, and whether it will be you fancy having a debate with Envy or Christy or Karen, myself, Malatov, or whether it's just to shoot the shit and have a laugh and a joke live. So you're always welcome. Never be a stranger in a house that welcomes you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And you too, Michael. Like you and Layla. I mean, you guys. You are really strong and courageous for speaking out and giving a voice to those who feel like they don't have one.
Thank you, love.
Yeah, I love you.
Yeah. Just like Christy said earlier on, I'm just a mouthy git. I've got a big mouth and I won't shut up for no one. Don't like it? Move on.
Shove it up your shite pipe and jog on.
Exactly, my love. Shove it up your shite pipe and jog on. But yes, thank you so much, everybody, for joining in. Yeah, and thank you for coming up, guys, and asking the questions. And Danielle, thank you so much for being an absolute gracious co-host.
Thank you for having me.
Here's hoping that there's many more for us to do together like this.
Yeah, thank you for doing this live, Michael. And Layla, thank you for coming up and sharing your story. We all appreciate it, and we are all here for you.
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, night, whatever time it is over there.
Yeah, you too, Layla. You too. All right. Well, again, thank you so much. I'll drop down, but thanks for letting me join in.
Absolutely. And the next one, you'll be here
Yes.
with me co-hosting also when
Yay.
I get responses back. But yeah, thank you so much, darling.
All right. Love you.
Love you, babe. Thank you so much, Layla.
Thank you. Yeah, this is about good time for me to head off, so I appreciate it though. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Layla. Malatov, I don't know if you're still awake or if you're sleeping. I'm not sure, but I'm going to disconnect you anyway. Right, guys. So, W. Layla for sharing story with us. I think we can all definitely say that that's a heartbreaking story. And at such a young age, such a young age, 13 years of age and getting a double mastectomy. It's vile. These doctors are criminal, honestly. Yes, please give some love in the chat for Layla. I don't know if Layla's still watching or not, but spam love hearts, roses, whatever you need in the chat, some emotes, just so Layla can see that the love's there. But yes, so I'm hopefully going to have a couple of more detransitioners that want to come up and have a chat with us. I am doing this because Detransitioner Awareness Day is on the 12th of March as you heard there, me, Layla, and Christy will be attending Beyond Gender, which is GenSpec's conference in Washington, D.C. I should hopefully have my passport by next week. Sadly, it is going to have female on it, and I can't get that off. But hey ho. So, yes. So thank you so much, everybody that joined in. I'll be posting a couple of videos. Jade, Envy, I will send you over the link to Layla's GoFundMe so that you have that. And anybody else that feels like they want to make a small donation, I will also post the link on my videos so you're able to find it there when I post up. Anybody that's joining that's missed the interview, this is going to be on my YouTube channel. I'll hopefully get it up tomorrow. I'll need to download it tonight and then upload it onto YouTube, and I don't know how long it takes to download a 3-hour video. So my YouTube, all my social medias are in the bio of this. Just go onto my link tree. Is it link tree? Onto my tree thing where all my social medias are, and you'll be able to find it there. Failing that, it's just Gay Michael. Type in GEH Michael into YouTube, and you'll be able to find it. I will do, Jade. So I've got everything now. The only other thing that I need to get is my Vista, I think they call it, my visa, basically. But I can't get that until my passport comes in next week, and then I'll be getting that. I think it's like £20, £30 or something. So yeah, ESTA, my ESTA, ESTA, ESTA. So yeah, so that's the only other thing that I need to get in. I've got my suit. I just went out today and finished buying my outfit. The only thing I couldn't get was a black jacket, which is so infuriating because I want a long black kind of suit jacket, you know, and I couldn't find it anywhere. So I'm just going to need to wing it with what I've got. But yeah, so thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Layla, Christy, Envy, my co-host Danielle. I love every one of you. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. I'll need to check that, Sarah. Amazon, I did not even think. I always forget that Amazon does close. So yeah, I am going to go and download this video and hopefully do some editing tonight. It is midnight, so it's a bit of a rough time to start editing. If I don't get anything up tonight, it will be up tomorrow. And thank you so much. And here's hoping that we can open the door for more detransitioners to come out by spreading our story. Hey, the more detransitioners that we have coming out and speaking out, the more realization of the harm that has been caused. Sorry to everyone that has gifted and I haven't shouted you out. Normally I take a minute and shout everybody out. But I see every one of you. I can see the list here. You are absolutely beautiful humans. Yeah, you're not coming up. So I appreciate you all, and I shall see you in the next live, guys. Have a lovely whatever time of day it is for you. Bye, chickens.